Let's go, lesbians! Yeah.
Let's go, lesbians.
So today, everything is
lesbianism.
lesbians. Or lesbianism, yes.
Yeah.
Because we talked about not bad gay representation, but queer baiting last week. And we talked a lot about like MLM, men loving men couples. We decided that this week we should focus on the lovely, lovely lesbians. I love lesbians.
I also love lesbians. They are the first L in the LGBTQ due to their help during the AIDS crisis.
Yeah.
So they stepped up when other people didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the nurses working in hospitals, like helping with patients who had AIDS and HIV, were lesbians because they weren't, I would say, like, not as susceptible, but
They knew that the way that AIDS spread was not actually like through physical touch. Like they knew it was like a sexual disease.
mm-hmm.
And then while people were often afraid to be around men that had AIDS, that's why it was like the whole gay crisis. It's like gay men were being ostracized because like they famously had AIDS during that crisis. But lesbian nurses like were the first ones to step up. It was Princess Diana.
Yes!
Princess Diana and lesbians were like famously the women that were like speaking up for the gay community during this time, because they were the only ones that like, I feel like maybe it's allyship within the community, but they were like, you guys are kind of crazy. You're not going to get AIDS just by touching gay people.
Fun fact.
Yeah. And so thus the L became before the G because it was GLBT, but now it's LGBT, which I think flows better anyways.
Yeah, but that also might just be because we're more used to it.
That's true.
But
yeah.
Today, lesbian representation. My love. My love, my love, my love.
Yeah. So while we were brainstorming for this episode, we were trying to think of like popular media that had like one, any lesbian representation, and two, media with good lesbian representation, and also media that had bad representation, but we'll get there too.
Yeah.
But in the conversation, Lauren brought up three like very popular shows.
Four.
Which are Avatar: The Last Airbender, but the Korra one.
Legend of Korra.
Thank you. And then
Steven Universe.
Adventure Time, and She-Ra.
Yes.
Yeah, which all happen to be animated shows also.
And there's a lot of lesbian representation in anime and manga as well. One of the first manga that I ever read was Bloom Into You, which is about two lesbians. And like Women Loving Women is just really popular. Another great one is The Guy I Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All. I love that series so incredibly much. Volume 3 is coming out soon, and I'm so excited. I want it so bad. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. But basically it's like, I mean, lesbians have been around for a really, really long time.
Well, yes.
Obviously, just as they've been around since the beginning of time. But only really recently have people really started changing the attitude, I guess, because I feel like in my own life, I feel like there was like, I guess the love for gay men and like disdain towards lesbians.
Yeah. I mean, because like the whole like having a gay best friend was such a big thing, but then you tell your friends that you like girls, even if you're bisexual, and they're like, I don't like you that way. Oh my God, did I say that I wanted you? No, I did not say that. Oh my God, no, I didn't say that. But yeah, I mean, like, and also queerness was pretty big in like ancient Greece. There's a whole myth of like Sapphos, and even the hero Wonder Woman, like the Marvel Comics hero Wonder Woman, comes from the island of Sapphos. That's why all of them are just women. They're all like super powered women. Because of Sapphos, and I think that's really interesting. But no, I think lesbianism was definitely demonized for a while because it's a two-hit combo of being gay or queer and also being a woman. And who are you as a woman if you don't like men?
Yeah. And honestly, like within that, that's why I feel like there's also been a lot of discourse, especially within like, because bisexual women and lesbians and then like it's like the stereotype. So actually, I was recently watching a YouTube video analysis where the creator was analyzing like the relationship between bisexual men and bisexual women and women.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because if you're a bisexual man, that means you're gay. If you're a bisexual woman, that means you're straight. You just like to kiss your friends when you're drunk.
Exactly. So then it's like there's this like it's this lack of like legitimacy in the bisexual female experience because it's like it's just assumed that they're going to settle with a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the famous joke where it's like you know, the bisexual woman and her like bi-wife energy boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, it's so weird because like I still see it on social media a lot today where either bisexual women will be judged for not dating women and like saying that I saw this one thing on threads, you know, threads.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this one thing on threads where it was like a lot of bisexual women need to realize that they're actually heteroromantic and bisexual because you don't actually want to date women. What are you saying?
Yeah. And it's like it just creates like such a dangerous like narrative.
Yeah, because like yes, the difference between like romantic
and sexual feelings.
Yeah, do need to be more differentiated and I think there's a lot of difference between them. But at the same time, like just because someone isn't dating women or isn't only dating women or isn't dating a lot of women or whatever the case is, has had a long-term boyfriend doesn't mean that they're not bisexual or biromantic.
Exactly. And it's like the whole existence of bisexuality means that there's like this duality of romantic attraction.
Yeah.
And like with our society being like I guess I would say monoromantic, but I don't know if that's the right term. But it's like essentially it's assumed that you find one life partner and stick with them. And so I feel like it's like people will excuse bisexuality
monogamous?
as monogamous. Thank you. And so it's like people will excuse bisexuality or like bisexual people are more invalid once they've chosen a forever partner, even though that's like generally the trajectory that like a lot of people in our society go towards.
Or at least are assumed to go towards.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that and you're bisexual, you're a slut.
Yeah.
And you're a cheater.
Yeah.
You're a cheater and a slut.
And actually, speaking of cheating, that's something that me and Lauren were also talking about a lot within specifically. Like, I feel like we see it a lot in the WLW community, especially when it comes to bisexuality, is when, or actually bisexuality and lesbianism, because we were talking about how common cheating is in these relationships. So like, with a fictional example, for example, I brought up the show Atypical, which features a romantic relationship between this girl named Casey and her boyfriend, Evan. And then the show has about, I think, 3 or 4 seasons, but essentially later on, either season 3 or 4, Casey meets this girl named Izzy at her new school. And they get really close friends. They start hanging out all the time. And then they kiss while Casey is still dating Evan. And there's just this like assumed okayness when it comes to cheating as a way to have not self-expression, but like exploring your sexuality. It's like cheating is okay if you're using it to explore your sexuality. And I feel like that's just like, that's a label and a stereotype in like, especially I feel like the lesbian community that I really, really don't like. I really don't like it because I feel like it kind of frames bisexuality as like a fake thing. Like
it's a stepping stone.
Exactly. Like bisexuality is what you go to when you're not sure if you're gay yet, or when you don't know if you're straight all the way.
And like a lot of people do experience that and I don't want to say use bisexuality as a stepping stone, but like label themselves bisexual and then later realize that they're not that. And that's so fair because sexuality is weird. I think there's also a huge emphasis on having labels that like our society deems necessary, but like isn't really necessary.
I agree.
And I feel like being unlabeled is just, it's become like a really unpopular thing for some reason.
Yeah. And even with like biphobia, it reminds me of this one episode from Glee where So Kurt and Blaine,
Oh my
spoiler alert if
God.
you haven't seen Glee, but
It
Kurt
happens in like the
and
second
Blaine,
season.
yeah, Kurt and Blaine are romantically interested in one another. They've officially declared themselves. They're not dating, but they have crushes on one another. And they play spin the bottle, as many theater kids do. And Blaine kisses Rachel. And as a gay man, you know, he said that at the time he was really drunk, but he said that he liked it. And so he asked her on a date and they went out. And Kurt gets especially hurt by this. And he's like, bisexuality doesn't even exist. You're just afraid to say that you're gay. And that came out in 2010. So like, think about how like, and there's this joke that Blaine says, because he's like, I don't even want to say bi because like, I know that it would upset you, which is like, haha funny. But also at the same time,
Like, haha weird.
exactly, because it's like, even in the 2010s, bisexuality was still being framed as like, it's not a real thing. Like, this is not a real thing. You're just like confused.
Which I would say, I think Heated Revelry does a really good job at good bisexual representation. Not to bring a man into this, but Ilya Rozanov, famous bisexual. Anyways, back to lesbians. Enough with bisexuality.
Yeah.
Enough with the men. We're talking lesbians.
Yes.
So, as Eva mentioned earlier, I do have a good few cases of lesbians who I love and hold so dear to my heart. A lot of which came out in, I want to say, the mid to late 2010s. So famously, we have Ruby and Sapphire from Steven Universe, who were two of the first animated lesbian characters to appear on a show. If you know Steven Universe, you know that there's a lot of... So the majority of the characters are gemstones, and they have like these physical forms. And Ruby and Sapphire are very special because they create a fusion Garnet, who's one of the main few characters. And them having a fusion is essentially like a marriage or like a showcase of a relationship, because fusions are often used to like show intimacy between two gemstones. You have this with like pearl and rose quartz, and like a lot of these characters. It's very interesting. You can they have to do like a dance to like fuse. It's very clearly pointing towards like representing intimacy between these two characters. And Ruby and Sapphire were was one of the first lesbian couples to like be shown getting married, which is crazy. And I think that was like in 2018.
That's insane.
It was so beautiful. And then we also have like Bubblegum and Marceline from Adventure Time, who in the last season kiss. They kiss in the final episode. And it's like, it's implied earlier on that they were previously in a relationship. And then when you actually meet these characters, you see them post-breakup, not in a good spot. But there's some tension there. You can tell through Marceline's songs. You know, it's interesting. There's a lot going on between them. And they get back together with this kiss in the final episode. And that was also, I want to say, like 2019-ish, somewhere in that area. And again, made history not only for animated shows, but shows in general, having a lesbian kiss. Even though I don't believe that Marceline is a lesbian, I believe that she's bisexual. But whatever, it's a lesbian relationship. And it's just so fascinating to me how late in the 2010s that these characters like were able to be shown doing things such as getting married or just kissing. Like, it's crazy. And then a couple years after that, Adventure Time came out with a special episode, Obsidian. It was part of like a mini series where it was like an hour and a half episode each, and Obsidian showed Bubblegum and Marceline's like first breakup. And I do think that used like a lot of kind of lesbian stereotypes in the way that they broke up, but not like in an inaccurate way. I think a lot of people were able to connect to them because also it showed that they were very young. It felt like that very dramatic, toxic high school breakup, you know? Especially between two girls. There's going to be a lot of drama there. Like, there just is. And then we also have Avatar, Korra, and Asami.
Yeah. Who never kissed.
Who never kiss. In the comics, I think they kiss.
Yeah.
But that's the comics.
Yeah, I was going to say. The show, which is like, I think, when did that finish?
2017. Somewhere around there. These are all like in the same couple years. Everything happened fast. Yeah, no, they walk into a portal of light together, I believe holding hands.
Yeah, they look at they stop, they look at each other, and then they hold hands, and that's how the show ends.
Yeah, there was a version of that where they did kiss, but that was not in the final version. Instead, they held hands, which I do think was still very beautiful because there was a lot of, also tension there. There was a kind of love triangle. I hate love triangles with this guy that they both dated.
The Firebender or Fire Nation.
No, he's a firebender. Oh my god. Mako. Mako. And his brother Bolin. Oh my god, I love them. But both of them dated Mako at one point, and at first you think that Korra is getting really jealous of Asami. Later it looks more like she's getting jealous of Mako. And you see like this relationship, not only like romantic relationship, but also friendship form between Korra and Asami. And even them doing something so simple as walking into this light together, being the person that both of them rely so closely on, holding hands, was groundbreaking. Because also all of these are shows intended for like a younger audience. These aren't like explicit shows. They're not adult shows. They're something that people watch growing up. And that is part of what makes it so groundbreaking, in my opinion.
Yeah, because this was airing on like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Like shows genuinely where parents would just turn on their TV and their children would watch this representation.
Yeah.
And also like I feel like in those communities, it's especially important to signalize like the differences, I guess, like showing romantic relationships between women is important, even if it's suggested. That's why it's like, even the ending of Legend of Korra, even though they didn't kiss, so much of the audience was so satisfied by the ending just by the suggestive, like, romance between them.
I think I cried.
Honestly, I would too.
Yeah.
Like, it was so moving. And it even, like, think about, like, was thinking as you were talking, I thought about Arcane.
Oh, my God.
Because Vi and Caitlyn, there's this, like, in the first season, I watched the first season to its entirety. I did not watch the second season to its entirety.
I watched the second season live. That was coming out.
But
oh my God.
It was insane. So like Vi was very speculated to be a lesbian. She's like, I think she's canonically a lesbian. Well, at this point, she's canonically into women. But during the first season, so much speculation that she's like for the girls, right? And there is like sexual tension between her and one of the guards, Caitlyn.
Cupcake.
Yeah, so she calls her Cupcake and all that kind of stuff. Well, after season 1 came out, it was such a like that show really exploded everywhere. And so when season 2 came out, I felt proud that the writers included a scene where Caitlyn and Vi have sex.
And I think that this is really important. The manner in which they did it was very tasteful because, for a long time when you thought of lesbians, you would think of lesbian porn. And this was not lesbian porn. This was groundbreaking in so many ways because it wasn't necessarily sexualizing either of them because, you have two women. Oh my God, make them kiss. This is a show about League of Legends. But it wasn't like that. Like, it was truly...
It was like a groundbreaking thing where Vi was like, she was just so happy for Caitlyn to be there that it was a soul connection. And the fact that they had sex was just like the way that it happened.
Yeah.
But it genuinely, like, it brought them together.
Yeah. Like it was just a connection.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah. And that came out in 2024, I think. So
it
started
up. Releasing at the end of 2024. I think it went a little over into 2025 if I remember correctly. But oh my God. Yeah, no, I was watching that with two of my friends like as it was coming out and it was just insane. Like I have no words. I'm speechless.
Yeah. It was groundbreaking for the lesbian community. It was amazing representation for this ship because especially like, gay characters, it's like our episode last week, like gay characters, you hold out faith that the writers will have some sort of, I guess, acknowledgement of their sexuality, but there's no guarantee that it'll happen.
Yeah.
And so like it was like relief and excitement that they went in that direction. And I feel like there are so many stories where the romance is just so palpable. Yes, exactly. Like you can just feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that a lot of people also felt that way about She-Ra.
About She-Ra?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have one more thing to say about Arcane first. I would describe the way that they did the sex scene in a similar way to how Heated Rivalry does it in the last couple episodes. Because, you have the first 2 episodes, which are like hot and heavy, steamy. Oh my God. And the last episode, like the last few episodes, it focuses more on their relationship, and like you see not the lust necessarily, but like the passion and the care. And I think that's something really special that Arcane did as well, that came through in this scene, because sex scenes can be really hard to do. They can be really distasteful, especially like when you're working with a community like lesbians, or like women loving women relationships, where you don't want to be sexualizing these 2 characters. You don't want to be sexualizing these 2 women. You don't want that to be all that they are. And I think they did an amazing job at making it not that. And yes, oh my God, She-Ra. This was a show that came out on Netflix that is actually being taken off of Netflix soon. It's really sad. I should rewatch it. But it is based on the like 90s or 80s cartoon He-Man, where there was a character named She-Ra, and so they re-envisioned this character and basically put her in a gay little universe. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was animated, and I think it had 3 seasons. And throughout the seasons, you have this friends to enemies to lovers slow burn, slowest of the slow burn, between She-Ra, also Adora, and Catra.
We're cheesing in the studio, guys.
I'm so happy. Oh my God. I'm getting such like vivid memories of like watching these shows for the first time, and like just not only feeling all the joy that I felt while watching them, but like just seeing the joy. And I remember it was just such a beautiful time. Especially, it was such like a nice breath of fresh air after Clance. Going from Clance to Adora and Catra is really just
relieving.
So relieving. So beautiful and amazing. And watching this slow burn take place over like 3 seasons, I do believe. I might be mistaken, but I don't think that I am. Was amazing. And it comes out in this like... So, Adora and Catra grew up as friends. They were both like part of this one organization that they thought were the good guys. Adora then finds out they're not the good guys. She runs away. Catra thinks that Adora's abandoning her. Sorry, also kind of spoiler alerts, but also the only things that I'm saying right now happened in the very first episode. And also, watch it. It's leaving Netflix soon. Please watch it. Please watch it. Please watch it. And long story short, Catra has abandonment issues, takes them out on Adora and her friends. One of her friends, by the way, is a great representation of male bisexuals, which I think is really cool. But in the last couple episodes, there's like the like reveal of feelings between Catra and Adora, and like Catra's a very standoffish character, and like it makes me so happy. Like it truly makes me so happy thinking about these amazing characters, because not only are the relationships well done in a lot of these animated shows, which are for a younger audience, but also the characters themselves are just really good. They're really well done. You can tell that the creators put a lot of thought into everything that happens in these shows. And I really respect that. I appreciate that a lot, and I really respect that.
Yeah, and it acts as really good representation for like queer women at the time.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, although there's like we've talked about like the difference within like the maybe people are more likely to accept lesbians because they're like it makes sense for women to love women, but it doesn't make sense for men to love men because they're just like women are already like emasculated because they're feminine. But like if a man loves another man, then it's emasculating. So
I
there's
would kind of disagree with that.
really.
Well, I think what you said, I don't disagree with, but I wouldn't say that people have an easier time with lesbians because we do live in a very male-dominated society and in a very heavy patriarchy. And so, like, this is something a lot of, like, queer women in general struggle with, but not centering men in not only your relationships, but in your life. Like, how are you going to have a relationship with no man there? That's not how our society is meant to function. And I think that's something that really irks people the wrong way about lesbians, probably subconsciously, hopefully subconsciously. But I think that is something that really hurts lesbians.
That's true. And I forgot that we talked about the whole like the fetishization.
Yeah.
And how it's like there's an atmosphere around like appreciation for MLM culture. But
never tell a man in a bar that you like women because he will want to see you kiss one.
yeah. Or it's like even in shows like they like in Friends when they're trying to get their room back, Rachel and Monica are like, we will make out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And Chandler and Joey take it. That's all it takes.
Yep.
Or like
I think that happens
Robin
in How I
and
Met Your
Lily.
Mother too. Yep.
Yeah. Robin and Lily make out for male attention.
Yep.
They don't make out because they enjoy it.
No.
They make out because they want
Well, I
the
think
men
Lily
to
enjoyed
like
it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's true. But yeah, Robin, like the point of the making out in the first place was for male attention.
Yeah.
And so like that's where it comes from a lot of the time is like if women are making out with each other, it's for the purpose of a man watching it.
Yep.
So like it never takes men out of the equation. It just moves them to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it can get really damaging when portrayals of women are in the hands of men. Yeah. Which I feel like is sometimes seen in these 2000s shows. But that is not here nor there. That is not today's episode.
That's speculation.
Exactly.
We cannot confirm nor deny this.
Nor deny this. Exactly.
This is journalism integrity.
But it does bring up a lot of like, because like this conversation of like women being created for like a man's pleasure, I feel like that's also where we find the cheating trope. Or it's like people won't count it as cheating because you're just kissing a girl. Like my girlfriend is making out with a girl, but that's not cheating because she's doing it for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you can kiss other girls as long as I can watch.
Yeah, which is kind of gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah. And it's something that lesbians have to go through. And that's also like, I've also like in the lesbians in my life, I've heard them say like they don't allow a lot of men in their lives. They have they have a tight, dare I say, like rule book that they follow when they're meeting new men because they know that like there's a lot of men that will fetishize them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like it gets really hard. Or like if you're a woman that outwardly has preference towards other women, there's like the I can change you. Like you just haven't met the right guy. Also hate that.
A lot more inappropriate sayings than that too about
exactly
what meeting the right guy will do for you.
Exactly. And then there's like that is not the conversation around gay men, or like that's not what I hear at least.
No, but I will say a lot of the conversation around gay men, especially in like straight conversations, is you hear like girls being like, "Oh my god, I want a GBF. I need a GBF. Like I need a GBF so bad. Oh my god, you're so cute."
Yeah, like don't you want to talk about boys? There's this movie called GBF. Did you ever watch it?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's
I
crazy.
came out as bisexual at the age of 13. I was an Instagram comment warrior.
That's true. 20 by teen.
Was and am the woker.
Yeah, you are the woker.
I am the woker.
Yeah, but actually, okay, so there's a show. It's called Sex Lives of College Girls, starring famously Renee Rapp, who is a famous lesbian that cheats on other lesbians.
And it got canceled.
Yeah.
And she has a song about that.
It does get a lot worse after she leaves. Yes, literally, they'll leave me alone. But basically, so Renee Rapp has this whole coming out scene where she goes into, her name is Leighton in the show, but she goes into college as a straight woman, not internally but outwardly. So she's like trying to hook up with guys, and she's a very gorgeous woman, and so she doesn't really
it's
have
Renee Rapp.
Yeah, she doesn't have any trouble really finding men. It's just like the men, she just doesn't like them, like obviously because she's a lesbian. And they have this, her arc is really true, or like I've heard, it's really true to the lesbian experience. And that's also why the show especially blew up, because Renee was like giving her experience to the writers as they were writing it. And it's like this shame that she like feels, but as the show progresses, like as it goes on, she is like, when she comes out, people accept her with open arms, which is really, really endearing to see, especially because the first season was made in 2021. So it's a very, very new show. And then after that, she does have an era where she's like hooking up with a bunch of girls on campus because she's like the fresh new meat. She came out and all the lesbians want her, haha funny. But
I mean,
there's a development of like an actual lesbian relationship on the show, and you like watch them fall for each other, and it's really powerful. Because like I feel like they give that slow burn that only really we've seen in animated shows, like, and shows directed towards children, whereas like this show is called Sex Lives of College Girls. Like this is for college aged people and above, basically. And it was really, really powerful to see. And when she left, I understood that she left because of her like music was taking off, and like she's much more popular now than she was when she was on the show. But it hurt to see me just because of how much her representation meant to viewers.
Yeah, I do also think some of the things that she said about the show was like she was giving the writers like her experience, but I think she also had some issues with the writers taking maybe too much of her experience or something. I don't really remember. I've just seen a couple interviews. But yeah, no, I think live action shows with lesbians are really complicated too, because we also have like Euphoria.
True.
And something that Euphoria and Sex Lives of College Girls have in common is the cheating trope.
Yeah, the cheating trope. And I mentioned it briefly with Atypical, but it is something that we as in like Lauren and I, but such a disdain.
Oh, I hate cheating. I hate cheaters. If you're a cheater, tune off right now. Don't watch this. I don't like you.
Turn off this episode.
Turn off my life. Get out of my... Sorry.
Get out. But basically, yeah.
Half joking.
The cheating trope is really, really, really popular in the lesbian community. Mm-hmm. It's like speaking with like some of the lesbians that I know in real life, it is something that pops up in their community a lot.
Yeah.
And like speaking of Renee Rapp, so her current girlfriend Toa Bird, they got together because she cheated on her girlfriend while they were on tour. So like Cynthia she had a girlfriend going on tour. Exactly. Cynthia Erivo had like a fiance?
Had a girlfriend or a wife, and then cheated on her with her current wife.
Yes, exactly.
And then had rumors with
Ariana Grande. Yeah, there's a lot of cheating. Like it's very rampant in the lesbian community.
And it makes me question like what came first, chicken or the egg? These stereotypes, or were they based on reality and now they're being continued by the behavior we see in real life? And is that behavior in real life at all connected to what is in the media?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, I know. I'm like a genius.
We're sending that out for, if anyone wants to do research, we're sending that out for you guys. Report back.
Yeah.
Literally. But yeah, it opens up a lot of conversations about like, well, are lesbian relationships known for cheating because women are known for cheating? And when there's two women in a relationship, then it brings out that aspect.
But at the same time, I feel like in straight relationships, the stereotype is it's usually not the one who's cheating.
That's true. Well, in certain aspects. Like
yeah.
Yeah. In like, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or I feel like when women do cheat, stereotypically, it's like revenge cheating. I find it really interesting because I don't know where this comes from. Honestly, I have a theory. I feel like the media to an extent sees lesbians specifically as lustful creatures because the whole thing of like a lot of lesbians being fetishized. lesbian porn being one of the most porn categories. And so I think lesbians are just seen as more sexual creatures and therefore more prone to cheating, hypothetically.
Yeah.
That's my theory about where that comes from.
I feel like that's a good one. Like, yeah, it all goes back to fetishization.
Everything does. It's disgusting.
Everything goes back to fetishizing.
Everything is fetishizing. New name of the episode, guys.
I was going to say our episode today.
Yeah, no. I hate it. And because like so many like queer female relationships have cheating in them. It's so strange. Like Rue and Jules on Euphoria.
Yeah. I didn't watch Euphoria, but
you didn't?
No.
That's really surprising. So Rue, played by Zendaya, and Jules, played by Hunter Schafer, are in kind of a relationship. I don't know if they ever call each other like girlfriend, but Jules is trans canonically in the show, and you see her hooking up with like a lot of men. I think it's like
Nate.
Well, Nate's dad.
Oh,
yeah.
T.
Yeah. One of the first scenes of her, she's hooking up with Nate's dad. And I think she has these like sexual encounters with men to like affirm her identity a lot. But then you see her and Rue get really close and like have this really special relationship. And then Rue tries to get clean for Jules. But then this new character, Elliot, comes in season 2. And Elliot is also, he's like a stoner, kind of gets into drugs, whatever. He and Rue get really close, and for a lot of season 2, you're like, oh my god, Rue's gonna cheat on Jules with Elliot. Wrong.
Jules cheats on Rue?
With Elliot.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like it's right around the time that Rue's like relapsing, and it just sends everything down even more. And it's a really interesting story. It really is. But at the same time, like, not only is cheating very stereotypical in the media for lesbians, but cheating with men is really stereotypical for cheating within lesbian relationships.
Yeah. And I heard that, like, I mean, obviously, I can't relate, but I heard that in those situations, it can kind of even hurt more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there's this whole special part of the relationship that doesn't include men.
Yeah.
And so not only are you betraying my trust in you and in our relationship and betraying how I think you feel in this relationship, but you're doing it with the person who I would least likely expect you to.
Yeah.
You're doing it with someone who I didn't think had any say in what we're doing here. Like, you are not only going against me and who I thought we were, but you're going against who I thought you were.
Yeah. Have you heard the controversy with King Princess?
No.
It could be not King Princess, but I'm pretty sure it is them. But, oh no, it's Fletcher.
Yes.
Fletcher.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. So Fletcher was out as a lesbian for a really, really long time. And then they just recently, like within 2025.
Yeah. Within the past 365 days.
Yes. They announced that they have a boyfriend. And then wrote a song about how, like, it's like he is the missing piece. He was the one. It was essentially like, in a lot of people's eyes, it was reaffirming that stereotype that it's like, you just need the right man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, it's okay to change your identity if you discover something new about yourself. If you do meet someone who changes your views on love, go for it. And that's okay. I think the most harmful part was the fact that this person had so much status, and like the way that it was framed did very much feel like, yeah, the right man can change you.
Yeah. It's like, now I'm better.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I see sexuality and gender as very fluid. Like, I don't, in my identity, don't conform to them. Mm-hmm. And like, I just have a hard time imagining people having like such strict boxes. But some people do.
Yeah. Or it's like the stone lesbians or something. There's like a term.
Stone top lesbians?
No, but that's like when you won't.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I know.
Because it's like, there's one term where it's like, you've always only been
Gold star.
Yes, gold star.
Yep.
gold star lesbians.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when you've never been with a man.
Yep.
Ever.
In any way.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
kissing, nothing.
Mm-mm.
Like you're a gold star lesbian.
Yep.
But
You
that
are the top of the top.
exactly.
Creme de la crop lesbian.
But then that also
Quote
puts
unquote.
exactly. But then that also puts like a bad. It's like, why are you putting a gold star on you? You're not any better than
Yeah.
other women just because like you figured yourself out before they did.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also it's okay to it's okay to experiment.
It's okay
Like
to kiss
is.
boys too.
Yeah. You don't have to like it. I mean, don't do it if you don't like it.
Yeah, no.
But
Don't
it's
do
okay
anything
to
you're
figure
uncomfortable with.
out you don't like it.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, it's a very like nuanced topic.
Yeah.
But what is happening now is we see lesbians being portrayed better in media
Yes.
like now than ever.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we're having like actual solid lesbian characters. And like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, even Santana and Brittany from Glee.
Yeah.
Like that was
they were great.
literally Brittany is bisexual, but
So-
May, like Glee have its moments, as I said earlier, but Santana is a real representation of like heteronormativity and
Yes.
lesbianism
Yes.
because she was known for sleeping with a lot of guys.
Yeah.
She was like just easy. Anyone could really get her.
Mhm.
And she often weaponized sex.
Yeah.
And so like when she started like leaning into her gay identity, you could see like her actually enjoy herself like in her
Yeah.
romantic relationships.
And not only that, but I think like the fear too, because not only did she enjoy it, but it was real.
Yeah.
It was real, and that made it so much scarier because like compulsive heterosexuality is something that a lot of like lesbians and queer people face because you're doing something that is deemed as morally wrong. Especially back then, like it was deemed morally wrong. And so you're asking yourself, why does this feel so good if this is bad? Like this, I'm lying to myself. This isn't true. I actually like this. I actually like this. I'm going to keep going with this. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of shame wrapped around it and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I mean, the queer identity is really, really difficult to even like pinpoint
Yeah.
because like everyone's experiences are so different in the community and like the way that you grow up will totally shape the way that you are as a person, like in your future and stuff like that. But I'm really happy and I'm really excited to see the future of lesbian representation.
Me too. I keep hearing people calling for a lesbian version of Heated Rivalry, and I really want that.
Yeah.
I saw someone come up with a great idea today of ballet dancers.
Like
Yeah.
Swan Lake.
Yeah. Oh my God. Black Swan.
Black Swan, they have lesbian sex in that movie.
Yeah. Kind of. Because that movie's trippy.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie.
But no, I want the lesbian version of Heated Rivalry so bad. I need that to blow up. I agree that like recently in the past like 5-10 years, we have gotten a better amount of quality lesbian representation, lesbian relationship representation. But I want more. Call me greedy. I don't care. I am greedy.
That's not greedy. That's representation.
I am greedy. I want more.
Literally, yeah. I'm really excited. I don't
Yeah.
know. I like any sort of, I don't know, queer representation just makes my heart so happy. And like seeing,
Yeah.
I really hope that if they do make a lesbian version of Heated Rivalry, that it has the amount of popularity that Heated Rivalry has.
I will watch it enough times to make sure it does.
We will be the million viewers across America.
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust me, bro.
Yeah. But I think that brings us to the end of our episode.
I do think so. Unfortunately, I want to talk about lesbians for the rest of my life, but we must say goodbye.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to Everything Is with Eva and Lauren.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week.
I love lesbians!
Woo!
Yeah!